Alright, we're going to take a look at a Canadian IMP, or individual meal pack. This is basically the Canadian version of an MRE. And it does have a lot in common with the US MRE. There's a lot of similarities, and there are a few differences too. This is only the second IMP I've ever had. This one was very generously sent to me by MREinfo.com member Black Dog Bob. And I have to say a big thank you to Black Dog Bob for sending this along. The last one I had, and the first and last and only one I've had, was about 3 years ago, I would say. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. And this one is Menu No.8, Veal Cutlet with mushroom sauce. It's in English and French, of course, being Canadian. And you have the little maple leaf up here. And the number 14 right here can be kind of confusing. Sometimes it can look like it might be the menu number. Obviously this says Menu No.8, so that's obviously the menu number. The 14 means it's from 2014. There's no date code on the outside of this other than the 14. On the inside we'll see components with date codes. And one of the great things about the Canadian IMP, as you can see here, you can see the similar size to an MRE, but a little bit different. Most military rations come either in a plastic bag like the I think MRE does, or in a cardboard box. This one is kind of unique in the fact that it actually looks like a paper bag. It looks like it's basically a bagged lunch. That's one of the things I've always thought was really great about these things. And it kind of has the appearance of a box, but it's basically the way it's packaged inside. So you have this outer brown paper bag looking thing, and so it doesn't look like it would be as sturdy or as waterproof or long lasting as an MRE, but we'll see inside it is foil lined. So I guess that's really all there is to say about this. We have actually says it's military ration, not for resale. And the only other thing on here is on the back, there's a website you can go to give comments. And it's kind of a long URL. Seems like they could have come up with something a little bit shorter than that, but without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look inside of here. You can kind of see here that there's something underneath the brown paper. You can see that it's packaged. They put the main entree and the side dish. They come in the cardboard boxes like the MRE entrees used to, and they put them on both sides. And everything else, there's no inner bag, and there's no like accessory bag or anything like that. Everything else is just kind of slid in between those. But it does make for a good presentation in that it looks like it's kind of like a box, or as I said, like a lunch bag. Let's just take everything out of here. And there's a good amount of stuff. So here you can see the foil lining here. So it's going to be definitely a little bit better than just having a brown paper bag. But I'm not exactly sure just how sturdy this is. It'd be nice to do a waterproof test on this at some point. And let's see what we have here. Here is the veal cutlet with mushroom sauce. And here are the ingredients in French and in English. And here's the nutrition facts if you want to see those. You can pause here if you want to read any of that. And interestingly enough, I don't actually see the manufacturer of this, so hopefully the inside pouch will have it, because some of the components are made by US manufacturers, the same ones that make the US MREs, and some are a Canadian company, I believe it's Baxter's. It does have a little Canada thing right here. And then we have one of the interesting differences between these and US MRE. This kind of looks like just a bunch of numbers, and it may not seem like it means much, but this right here is the date code. And as I said, this is a 2014 IMP, and this was packaged on the 309th day of 2013. US MREs have a 4-digit date code, so it would be 3309, so it would be the 309th day of possibly 2013, but it could be 2003. You know, it's kind of confusing with the 4-digit date code. Like this one right here. This was packaged on the 219th day of 2014, but it could be 2004, 1994, if you're not really sure from other clues. So the 5-digit date code is definitely something that's it's a nice touch, and you'll see it on the Canadian stuff. And our side is going to be a fruit cocktail, which has peaches, water, sugar, pears, pineapples, grapes, cherries, citric acid, and ascorbic acid. And the nutrition facts on that. We also have tortillas. And this is interesting. This is from the Warner Company, one of the 3 manufacturers of US MREs, and very similar style package. The font and the writing is all the same. See the ingredients and the nutrition facts on that. But it is a different color. It's not that that tan color we expect to see with the US MREs. But other than that, it's pretty much the same, and we have the 5-digit date code on that, the 310th day of 2013. Here's a Soldier Fuel bar, energy bar, similar to a First Strike bar. And here we have chicken rice. This is one of the few things in here. It's not called an MRE, so there's nothing saying that everything has to be ready to eat. But for the most part, most of the stuff in a Canadian IMP is ready to eat. But they do have sometimes mashed potatoes or rice, something like that, where you do add hot water to it. So we have a chicken rice here. Also have 2 lime sports drinks, 250 mils of water for each of those. And we have peanut butter and raspberry jam. Not really anything to put those on. I was kind of hoping this would come with the bread, or the pain, as it's sometimes jokingly referred to, P-A-I-N, because that's French for bread. And that would be great for these. They can obviously go on the tortillas, and I guess that's part of what we'll do. We also have Frank's Red Hot sauce. It's kind of a nice touch. Even that has its own date code of 13333. And here's 100 grains of sugar. And some sailboats on there. Some orange Pekoe tea. That's nice because you get there's some coffee down here, so you get coffee and tea with this. This is a Nescafe 3-in-1. I think this is a great touch. Somebody who prefers black coffee probably wouldn't agree. They'd probably rather have coffee, sugar, and creamer, so you can mix it how you want. But for convenience sake, this is nice because it has the creamer and sugar already in it. It's in 3-in-1. Basically an instant coffee. We have Icebreakers Frost mints. 2 pieces. Oh, and his whitener for the tea or coffee. So I guess obviously this could be for the tea, but if you find your 3-in-1 isn't whitened enough, you can put some more in there. We also have a moist towelette, wet nap, pack of matches. So you just saw this same pack in a halal MRE. We have the Canadian hot beverage bag. There's 2 measurements for sports drink and for hot chocolate. I guess also could be for coffee. And the thing that's nice about these is that they have the bottom that opens up, so you can actually, when this is full, it can actually stand up on its own, which is a definite convenience if you don't happen to have a cup or a canteen cup or something like that to put the drink in. And then we have the large napkin, which obviously, well, I suppose, you could actually use this as a little placemat for your meal. Could be that, can be used as a napkin, can be used as tissues, can be used as toilet paper, whatever you need it for. It's just a big piece of brown paper that's tissue. And then I believe the last thing in here is the nice long IMP spoon. I did want to do a little comparison because these do kind of get some ribbing for being so long. And in fact, they're actually not a heck of a lot longer than a standard MRE spoon. Looks like a little bit less than an inch longer. But obviously that's nice for if you're eating right out of the pouches. It's nice for being able to get right down into the bottom. And while we're looking at this box, I should also mention that these the entrees do tend to be a little bit larger in the Canadian IMPs. This is 255 grams in this pouch, whereas a standard MRE is 8 ounces or 227 grams. So you're also getting a little bit more in your main entree. The one thing I'm kind of surprised not to see, and I'm wondering if I missed it, is the toothpick. A lot of times these come with a toothpick, which I think is a great touch. If the soldiers don't have a chance to brush their teeth, it's nice to at least be able to use a toothpick or an interdental stimulator, as these be called in the sea rations. But I guess because they have the frost mints here, maybe that kind of acts as your mouth cleaner. Alright, and there's everything that's included in this veal cutlet with mushroom sauce Canadian IMP. And as you can see, it's a good amount of food, and we better go ahead and get started on this. And since the IMP doesn't come with a flameless ration heater or a stove or anything, we're just going to go ahead and put this in some hot water. Obviously this is ready to eat. It could just be eaten as is right out of the pouch. And here we do have, this is a Baxter's. I've seen some of these come with entrees made by US companies that make the entrees for the MREs. This one is from Baxter's Canada. And it does actually give you cooking instructions. It's sort of misleading that it says cooking as opposed to heating instructions, because of course you don't actually have to cook this, you just need to heat it. Well, you don't need to heat it up. You can heat it up if you want to. But it just says to place unopened pouch in pan of boiling water, return water to boil and heat for 5 minutes. Remove pouch, open at notch, and serve. And it is kind of nice such that they do say cooking instructions not applicable to fruit. Because it could be confusing. You could see this and say, oh, this is in a pouch too, I need to heat this up. But obviously a fruit cocktail certainly doesn't need to be heated up. Alright, so we got some water boiling. We'll just go ahead and put the veal in here. Give that about 5 minutes to heat up. Towards the end I'm going to throw the tortillas in too, just to try and make them a little bit more pliable. It's nice to have those warm too. And while the entree is heating up, there is one other thing that needs to be heated or mixed or made. It's the chicken rice. It does say to add hot water to the dotted line. Mix well, close the pouch, and let stand for 8 minutes. It smells like a chicken soup kind of a thing. And although it doesn't say add boiling water, the water I have is pretty close to boiling. So this can be a bit uncomfortable. And right now it looks like chicken soup. But hopefully that'll thicken up a little bit. Actually, it didn't go quite up to the line anyway, so hopefully that'll be alright. Let that sit for about 8 minutes. And take a look at our fruit cocktail. This is 140 grams. Oh, actually, in case you weren't sure, this is your dessert. 13253 for the day code. See, these pouches are a little bit wider than the US MRE entree pouches. Which could be a problem if you tried putting them into a standard US flameless ration heater. But since they don't have a flameless ration heater, it doesn't really matter. And this is interesting because this is a Baxter's, and I didn't realize this, but you could put the same cooking instructions on all the pouches, regardless of what it is. So even though this is the fruit cocktail, it does actually instruct you to place unopened pouch in a pan of boiling water and boil it for 5 minutes. So hopefully you'll see this little warning here, cooking instructions not applicable to fruit. And here's some old school looking fruit salad, like something you would have got at school or something, with the red cherries and everything. Since I'm probably going to put the rice here, I guess I'll go ahead and put the fruit salad over here, or at least some of it. Might be a little bit too much in here. And is the tortillas, which I did put in with the hot water with the entree. Warm them up a little bit. And they look like your standard MRE tortillas. Smell pretty good. Problem with these is that they fold them in half and they get this split along the where it's folded, and they generally tend not to be very pliable because of that. And we have our peanut butter and raspberry jam. And since we don't have any other bread product, I'm going to just go ahead and put some of that onto one of the tortillas here. It's a little globby. I did mix this up a little bit, but it looks like maybe not enough. And we have our Soldier Fuel Bar, which I hadn't mentioned. This is real peanut butter, that's the flavor. They do have these in chocolate. Chocolate and peanut butter are the two flavors. There's the nutrition facts on that if you want to see what this energy bar contains. I did do a review of Soldier Fuel bars. You can actually buy those from Meal Kit Supply, and they supply them to the Canadian government. I'll put a link down below if you want to see that review. So it looks like your standard energy bar kind of a thing. And then we have our beverages. We have the beverage bag. I'd call this a hot beverage bag, but it's actually just a beverage bag since there's no flameless ration heater. But you can put cold or hot drinks in here, of course. And the lemon lime sports drink, which we actually get 2 of. Since this makes 250 milliliters, or about a cup, I'm just going to make 1 for now. Put the other one aside. The bag does say to add the powder and then add water to it. There's that very artificial smell like the lemon lime drinks in the US MREs. And it says to add 250 milliliters or about 1 cup of water. The only problem with the bottom being able to open is that it can give you a, I don't know if you saw that, but before I folded the bottom out, it was actually right up to the full line, and now it's below the hot chocolate line. And I did measure out 250 mils anyway, so of course that actually is. It's a little bit better. And we'll give this a good shake. Alright, and because, as I said, the bottom folds out, you can actually just leave this as is and drink it right out of the bag if you want, which is a big convenient while you're out in the field. But for the sake of the review, let's go ahead and put it in a glass. And then we have our 2 hot drinks. As you can see, you get a lot of beverages with this. You get the sports drink. Not only do you get the sports drink, you get 2 of them, and you get the coffee and the tea. There's our pre-sweetened and pre-whitened coffee. And we'll go ahead and put in some water for the tea. Let's see how the chicken rice is doing. Oh yeah, that definitely soaked up all that water. It's a good amount of rice. I wouldn't mind having the veal on top of the rice. This could have all gone in one compartment, but as I said, we are doing a review, so we'll try them separate first. And that looks and smells pretty good. All that leaves us with is our entree, the veal with mushroom sauce. Like a big chunk of veal in there. What does that smell like? That smells like something. And I don't mean this to sound insulting or anything. I'm expecting a lot from this. I'm expecting it to be very good. But the smell that I got opening up the pouch, it has an old school MRE kind of smell to it. And what it reminds me of is like the chicken a la king and the tuna with noodles. I have a feeling it must be because of the mushrooms. Because obviously this is veal. It's really not very much like those other dishes. But it's a good smell. I'm not saying it's a bad smell, just that, I don't know, I was a little bit surprised. Here's some of the veal with the mushrooms on it. Now it's time to go ahead and try this out. You can see the veal here. Let me get some of the veal, some of the sauce, and some of the mushroom. And it's really flavorful. It's pretty salty, and I haven't really had veal a lot, so I don't really know how to judge veal. But it's a nice change. It's a nice change from having all beef stuff, beef or chicken, and it seems to be a good quality meat. As you can see by how they have it here, it's not overly processed. It's not really processed at all. It's just veal. We got a good amount of mushrooms in here. Sauce is kind of thick, very flavorful. This is really good. I'm not a huge mushroom fan, and I was actually kind of thinking, because of the fact that mushrooms play a big part in this, that I wasn't going to be too crazy about this meal, but it's very good. The veal, it kind of tastes, as strange as it might sound, it tastes similar to the only other IMP I ever had, which was the smoked meat. It's more the texture than the flavor. But the smoked meat was basically like a pastrami kind of a thing. This is nothing like pastrami, but it's definitely similar in texture. And even sort of similar in taste. I'll go ahead and try out this chicken rice. And that's good. It basically, the flavor, it's very salty. It kind of has the taste of like an instant chicken soup, just in a rice form. And the rice is really short. It's almost like couscous. Like a couscous with a chicken kind of flavor to it. Let's try a little bit of that with the veal. Should have seen that coming. And that's good. It doesn't really seem to be a dish that like screams veal with mushroom sauce and rice, but I mean, rice goes good with everything. I think I'll actually do some more of that. Yeah, it's really good. I'm gonna try out some of this other stuff though. Let's try the Soldier Fuel Bar. It's gonna be a very chewy, kind of sticky sort of a thing. And that's good. Like I said, very similar to a First Strike bar that you find in the First Strike rations and some MREs. The peanut butter flavor comes through really good. It seems to have the Crispies in there, and I believe it actually has peanuts in there too, little chunks of peanuts. It's quite good as far as energy bars go. And then we have our tortilla, which I kind of the peanut butter really did separate. It got a lot of liquid in there. Like I said, I may not have mixed it up as well as I could have. Usually you don't have to do quite that much, but let's try the tortilla first. And it's good. I mean, considering it's just a tortilla, but considering it's been sitting in a pouch for about 3 years, it tastes like a fresh tortilla, flour tortilla. Let's try it with the raspberry jam. And the jam is really tasty. And raspberry, it's a nice change from just having grape, even strawberry. And let's see how the peanut butter is. Peanut butter's good. It's I mean, it's peanut butter. What do you want? It's pretty similar to the US MRE peanut butter, but it's a little bit different, slightly different taste. Maybe a little bit less salty. And let's try them both together. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yeah, that's really good. It may seem kind of weird having something like that on a tortilla instead of on bread. But the flavor's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Let's try our 3-in-1 coffee. It's pretty good. Tastes like your standard instant coffee with sugar and creamer added. It's kind of nice that you don't have to add it yourself. It's already in there. And why don't we try our orange Pekoe tea also. It's been steeping for quite a while. That's good. I'm not getting a lot of orange flavor from it, but it tastes good. It tastes like good tea. And since we have it, I'm going to go ahead and add the sugar and the whitener. Because you can decide if you want that or not. Doesn't necessarily need it, but like I say, it's in here, so I might as well use it. Actually didn't really change the flavor a lot. Yeah, it's fine. It's a nice US MREs obviously never come with tea, so it is a nice addition. You have the coffee and the tea. You can choose either one, or you can have both. And I guess that leaves us with our dessert, which is the fruit cocktail. And like your standard canned, jarred fruit cocktail. Like an old kid's favorite. And that's good. We get the pears, the peaches, a couple of cherries, and the sauce, which is very sweet. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. What the heck is this? Oh, a little funny, like I forget that has grapes too. Apparently that's one of the grapes. Doesn't really stand up as well as the other stuff in there. It tastes fine though. Try some of this lime sports drink. And not surprisingly, very similar to the US lemon lime beverage. It's slightly different since it doesn't have the lemon, just a lime, but very similar. Like a Kool-Aid kind of a thing. So let's see, we've tried everything as is. Since they did give us Frank's Red Hot sauce, we should try a little bit of that too. Interesting, no salt or pepper of this, just the hot sauce. Oops. And in general, I'm not a big hot sauce kind of person, so I don't think this actually needs it. But, you know, rations do tend to be kind of bland sometimes, and they can get boring. Some people just really like spicy stuff. For whatever reason, it's a really nice touch that they added in there. It does give it a little bit of kick, and it's not overly hot. Obviously, I didn't use a ton of it, but you know, if you're finding you need something, a little something more, you have that option. To be perfectly honest, this is such a good dish. I almost think that the hot sauce kind of takes away from it, if anything. Just, you don't really need it. It's got a lot of flavor to it. Pretty salty. And obviously with the rice, oh, that was a nice little chunk of the hot sauce in the rice there. Yeah, it definitely kicks it up, makes it a little bit more interesting. I think we've looked at everything. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. That was a look at a veal cutlet with mushroom sauce IMP, individual meal pack from Canada, 2014, menu number 8. Thank you for watching. Yeah, a couple of final thoughts. First off, a lot of people ask if I finish everything in the rations that I eat, and to be honest, I don't anymore. I used to, when it was still kind of a novelty to be eating MREs. But because of the number that I eat, mostly for health reasons, I try not to finish everything unless it's really good. This, in addition to tasting really good, it also has the novelty factor of being an international ration, and so I do tend to eat more of those. So I did basically finish everything here except for the coffee and the tea, because I'm not a coffee or tea drinker. But there was two things I thought was worth mentioning. First, the peanut butter. It looks like you do need to knead this more than you do the US ones. I don't know if it's the packaging itself or just the peanut butter, but I went to make my second peanut butter jelly sandwich, and I noticed that in addition to some of it being runny, there's some that's almost like solid in here that I couldn't even get to come out. So it seems like it would have helped to knead that a little bit more. But there was that. I'm going to go and finish this. And I also realized when I finished up that I didn't try the Icebreakers Frost mints. So I'm going to try those to finish up. And it's good. It tastes like a spearmint or peppermint lifesaver. I guess spearmint. And this is winter cool. It kind of tastes like that sort of a gum. It's really good. I just ate it because I want to do that quick, but it'd be something good to suck on for a while. That's what she said. Sorry, couldn't resist. Anyway, thank you again for watching. Oh yeah, and the empty bag makes for a nice trash receptacle too.